So I say the winner of this battle was Snoop. Okay, y'all, did y'all see Snoop boot scooting? He was boot scooting with a mixture of crip walking. I mean, Snoop was having the time of his life.
Yes.
Hi. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we are passionate about good music and a great vocal. We'll use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. We'll give you our feedback on their voice and overall performance. Here on the Pitchy Podcast, we always like to keep it 100 with our feedback and critique of each contestant's vocal and overall performance. But what we're never here to do is come for anyone's character or come for any contestant as a human being. Although we may come off a little at times, if you know what I mean. We'll always do our best to speak our truths with love, kindness, and respect. And with that, I just want to tell you all, full transparency, I am exhausted, but
Howard,
I'm not that exhausted because last night, remember that song? Oh, no, I can't sing that on this. That's not fair. You remember that song?
We can't sing that on.
I don't know why this song came in my head.
That's for the Patreons.
Yeah.
Maybe not even.
That song was a jam back in the day.
Yes.
So last night was the
we're doing blind battles.
So my energy level has been returned because you all know that if you've been following us for the last year or two, this is some of our favorite rounds in this competition. We call He's the Voice. So without further ado, I just want to jump right in and start with our release, our sneak peek.
Yes.
As we like to say, that was actually released last Friday.
Yes, it was.
And it was Gail and Christina.
Yes.
And they sang Redneck Woman.
Yes.
By Gretchen. What's Gretchen's last name?
Gretchen Wilson.
Gretchen Wilson, yes. This song, oh gosh, this song was like huge. It's one of those huge songs that crossed over.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun. So I say the winner of this battle was Snoop, okay? And the reason why I said Snoop, y'all, did y'all see Snoop boot scooting? He was boot scooting with a mixture of crip walking. I mean, Snoop was having the time of his life.
Yes.
He was just, as the young kids, he was giving.
He was giving.
It was awesome to watch him. He was like,
yes.
He got up and he got down. And Stephanie, and I talked about this a little bit last week, most of the previous judges, of the previous coaches would usually, they'd get hyped, like Kelly would get hyped and John would get hyped and Jay Hud would get hyped.
Yes.
But they wouldn't leave their little chair.
That's right. That's right.
All over the place, y'all.
He was on the floor.
You could just see how not only dedicated he was, but how passionate he felt about, his work and him as a coach. So just to give you all a little background, life be lifing, as you all know, we're real people with real lives, and I did not get to watch the episode. I only got to watch the actual battle. So Stephanie is going to tonight be giving you all any insight to things I may not have seen. In fact, I don't even know who won these battles. So I'm going to be hearing it for the first time. So I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
I said, I love these ladies, Stephanie. I love these ladies. I love that they know their lane,
Come
right?
on.
Like
Come
they
on.
know their lane. Like Gail gave me seasoned, chill excitement. Seasoned,
Yes.
chilled excitement. I know that kind of sounds oxymoronic, but and Christina gave I felt like Christina. I said this in the blinds about her. I said Christina like grabbed us by the throat or the collar and like pulled us in and said, "You
Yes.
vote for me." Um,
Yes.
like Christina really grabbed us again. Um,
Yes.
I loved that they both used their big ears. I feel like they really listened to one another,
Yes, they
and I
did.
felt like Gail took, because Gail's older, she's more
Hmm.
mature, she's been on the scene, she's been doing this for years, and I felt
Yes.
like Gail was so encouraging, even in the middle of the song.
Vocally. Yes.
Yes, we've seen this before, right? With with
Yep.
with with Riley and Michael B. Like
Hmm.
we've seen the more seasoned singer like really like
Yeah.
elevate. And that to me is just so selfless, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I felt like she was very encouraging in the feedback as well, because I did catch a little bit of this feedback. Did
Hmm.
you hear those harmonies, those bend harmonies they did at the very end of that song? Like, but in their own octaves. Well, not octaves,
Yes.
in
In
their
their
own
own part, their own harmony part.
harmonies. Thank you. Um, I loved, and I also one of my favorite parts was the little choreo part where they both like kicked the door down, like they did that kick, and I was like, yes, yes, because you all know we love a good performance too. So
Come
this is
on.
all for me. I couldn't have picked it because there's something about Gail that lowers my blood pressure, but there's
Yes.
also something about Christina where I see the hunger, right? So it's like two total opposites, and I loved it. I thought this was
Absolutely.
this was a performance and not a battle. Stephanie?
Absolutely, absolutely. So this is the first time that we got to see Coach Snoop be a Coach Snoop, like for real, for real. Like we've seen him coach and mentor before, but this is the first time we got to see him
What is
coach.
before?
Yes,
Oh,
he
that's,
was. Yes, he was.
did they call that on the show?
No, he
Mega
was
Man?
a mega mentor. And
Thank
that's
you.
how we knew that coach was going to be a good primary coach because of that mega mentorship. And let me tell you, Co- Snoop was catching the gangster Holy Ghost during the rehearsal. Like he was up during the rehearsal. And it was so cool because he was giving them good pointers. He was preaching. He was encouraging. He was really encouraging them to take this song on as a duet and to really kind of show sisterhood. And in his comments after the performance, he said that they absolutely did that. Miss Gail is our pro. You hear Miss Gail holding down them lows? Did you hear that?
I loved it. I loved it.
Oh,
Because I know Gail is definitely an alto, and I
yes,
could hear a little bit like she was getting to the top of her range.
yes,
But she's so much of a pro. Uh,
yes,
you all know if you've been in the game and vocally, you know where your voice's limits are, right?
right,
And
right,
you accentuate and maximize what you do,
yes,
right? And that's
yeah.
what Gail did, right?
Yeah, when they were doing the chorus, Christina took the main melody and Gail sang the melody the octave below, which put her way low. She was like, "Let me get big," like she was real low, and I was
Yeah.
like, I hear every note, Miss Gail. I hear every delicious low note. It was so good. You talk about Gail lowering your blood pressure. I call her stability. Like she is
Yeah.
the stability. She is the calm, but not calm in a sleepy way, just steady, right? That I loved her energy. She was doing like she was drinking, she was just performing her behind off in her own classy way. She did a little shimmy. I
Yeah.
say, yes, you better say that your man still thinks you hot. Yes, in your non-Victoria's Secret Walmart lingerie, as the lyrics go. Yes, Miss Gail. And you're right. She was totally encouraging Christina. She was like, come on. Yeah. When Christina was singing, I was just like, come on, sisterhood. Yes, I love it.
Somebody who's confident in their talent and their
Come
gifts.
on, because she's like, I'm gonna encourage her in front of all y'all, even though Coach Snoop has to pick between us, I'ma still give her props on this stage, which I love that. I love that. I love that. Miss Christina said, in case y'all forgot about me, in case y'all forgot about my blondes, I'm gonna let y'all know who the you know what I am. And she was gritty. She had star quality. She was exciting. There's a line, and I forget the first part of the line, but the second part of the line talks about having a baby on her hip. Miss Christina snapped. Miss Christina, it was almost like she had a flashback, and she really had that baby on her hip in the Walmart when she was singing that lyric. And I was like, yes, because they were both coming from a place, and they said this in the rehearsal, that they could both really identify with this song, because they in various degrees could really relate to what the lyrics were saying. She was incredible, just like you said. Like, she took us, grabbed us by her talons, and she said, you gonna pay attention to me, you gonna pay attention. And we paid attention, and it was so dynamic on all sides. Like, it was so good. I don't know what else to say. It was so good.
It was. So I'm really, really excited because this was a cliffhanger. So I'm really excited to hear what Snoop went with.
There was good news, and there was not so good news.
Okay.
So the good news is Christina won.
Okay.
Based on Snoop's comments of what he said, he was going to pick the person that he thought could grow. Once he said that, I'm like, he's picking Christina.
Right.
What I thought was going to happen was somebody was going to snatch up Miss Gail, and the bad news is that did not happen. So Miss Gail was sent home. I was pissed. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I was pissed, because usually when they do the leak, it has meant that both artists have gone through, and that was sadly not the case this time.
There have been too many, with the exception of like Wendy Moulton, there have been too many older or more mature singers who've been sent home way too prematurely. Like, it's y'all can learn from these singers, including you coaches. Like, Gail she just had this, like you said, that steadiness, this quiet fire. It's going to be sad to see her go, because I thought she was a heck of a performance.
Yes, 1000%.
All right, so our next contestants were Sydney and Sloane. And you know what? Let me tell y'all something. I love it when The Voice does this. Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish is on the radio now.
Currently.
Like it's a hit now. Like,
currently.
It's been out for 6 months or whatever, but it's still very much highly on high rotation, as they say.
Now.
I love when The Voice does that. Over the seasons, I know at least we've been watching, they'll pull some Billy out. Not old, like new Billy. They'll pull they'll pull some Taylor out. That's
right.
Like not 2008, 2009 Taylor, like now Taylor, right?
Like 2020 Taylor.
Right, exactly. So I love it when they do this. I said this song is like now is what I wrote. I said two lighter voices. And this, what I liked in the, I guess, floatiness or lightness of their voices was their blend was impeccable.
Yes, it was.
Incredible blend. I said, I feel like Sydney and Sloane need to take their act on the road, because I think that like they put two singers together whose voices are so similar and have such a good mix and such a good blend, that they need to really think about forming a group. And I think I saw a comment where they were like, someone said something about how good their blend was.
Yes.
I feel like and this isn't a knock on them. I wanted a little bit more range. I wanted to see a little bit more range. Now that's the song, right?
Yeah.
Um, I feel like I needed more range for both of them to really make a good assessment as into who I would pick. I
Okay.
didn't feel like I love this song, but I just didn't feel like it showed off the voices enough for me.
Okay.
Um, again, I felt that both of these ladies were very humble when they
Mm-hmm.
sang. I thought they were both very selfless and let each others really sing, um, sing, you know, bring out the best in each of the singer. The thing that blows my mind the most is that Sydney, I felt for a 15-year-old, she was very pro. I was shocked. She's the same age as my daughter, same age. Shocked. I was like, no, you're a pro. Like, no, and she even doesn't look like a teenager, right? She
Right.
even looks like a young 20 something.
Yeah.
Felt like she sang like that, and I felt like
Yeah.
she carried herself like that.
Yeah.
I felt Sydney was very pro.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt very pro, and like it was a let me check her birth certificate moment for me because
Right.
I thought she was that like ready for. I didn't feel teenager from her at all, and just the whole presentation.
Mm-hmm. So it was interesting because I felt like Sydney had a richer tone to her
Yeah,
voice,
sure.
whereas Sloane had more of a Zoe lightness twinkle to her voice. But I think that that's why their blend was so good because they both had something different to give, but they were able to blend it together to make like this gorgeous mix of vocal that yeah, they were really, you could tell they really worked hard on their harmonies to bring them together. Another big ear situation. I felt like Sloane looked a little bit more natural on the stage. I
Yeah.
felt like there were parts where Sydney looked a little bit more like she was newer to being on the stage. However, when Sydney came and did her, like when she opened the song in her
Yeah.
first verse,
Correct.
I was like,
Me too. Yeah. I was impressed.
ma'am, I was so impressed with her vocal and like throughout the rest of the song too. But for her voice to be the first one I heard, I was like, 15 what? 15 nah, ain't no 15. That's a strong 21-year-old voice. And then
Right.
Sloane came in and her tone again was just like light and twinkly, but really solid as well. Here's what I didn't like. I did not like the arrangement of this song.
Yeah, it
It
was.
felt so
It was
disconjointed because there was percussion issues where like the percussion would like not be steady. It would be like dun, 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 dun. Like it just felt like nothing, there was no flow. It just felt like there was no flow to the song and it actually distracted me.
mm,
um and I'm glad that I had time to listen and watch back on these performances because the first time I watched it I was kind of distracted by the arrangement of it all. So
I
that's
think the
where I stood.
interesting thing about this song is it's so not what we expect from Billie. Like
Right.
when I
Right.
first heard it, I was like, "That's Billie Eilish."
Right.
It sounds like Billie Eilish doing Taylor Swift. That's how that song sounded to me when I first heard it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can
Absolutely.
be Billie, obviously, but
Hmm.
it's definitely a more poppy turn for her.
Yes, it is. It's got a
Yeah.
little two-step to it, which I
So
think that's why the arrangement was weird to me because I felt like I couldn't really two-step to it.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
So who did she wind up picking?
Before I tell you that, I will say that there were a couple times where initially I did not agree with Michael Bublé's reflections and feedback.
Okay.
This was actually one time when I went back, I did. He said that he felt like Sydney was a little bit nervous. So of course, sometimes as this show does, they edit the feedback to make you think that one thing is going to happen and then the other thing happens.
Right.
So there were a lot of feedback where it looked favorable to Sloane. In the end, Gwen picked Sydney to go through.
Interesting.
But wait. When it came time for Sloane to say her bye-byes, not one, not two, the other three coaches all pressed their button to steal her.
Wow. A
And
three steal?
three. And she chose to go with Michael Bublé.
That's good. Michael's going to do really good for her voice. Like
Yeah.
we always say, Michael is a technician when it comes to vocal.
Yeah. I was very interested that was one of the steals, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so Sydney said, yeah, I want Gwen to like really bring Sydney out.
Yes.
Because Sydney, again, I don't believe you're 15, young lady. I really don't. And that's a compliment. Like, you're amazing.
Yes, it is.
Awesome steal though. I thought both ladies did really well.
Very nice.
Okay, so next we had Alison and Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
Is funny. And Stephanie knows why that's funny. Because
yes, I do.
That's why it's funny.
Yes, I just noticed that actually. Yes, I do. Like, wait. Inside joke, y'all. Inside joke.
Inside joke. So yes, this was Alison and Kendall.
Yes.
And they did Bring On the Rain. And who sings Bring On the Rain, Stephanie?
Tim McGraw and Jody Messina.
You know what? It's funny. I thought this was a Tim McGraw and his wife song.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because Alison, she came in and sounded like Faith to me. When
she giving Faith.
Like, I was like, is it the Faith Hill Tim McGraw song?
Could have been.
Because and I didn't do it based off of Kendall. I did it based off of Alison because I thought Alison was giving me this Faith Hill vibe.
Yes.
I said, this one was interesting to me. And I'm interested to see what you think about my take, Stephanie.
Okay.
Like both of their voices, but I'm not sure how I felt about them being paired together.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both needed a little of what each other was good at. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So let me go and explain this. I felt that Kendall needed a little bit of softness in sections that Alison brought, and I felt Alison needed a little bit of gruff that Kendall brought. Okay?
Yeah.
Her softness, I said her softness with his grit. And here's the thing about this one. I felt this one was more of a battle. Now, you can take it as good or bad. And this is not a bad thing, but there's some performances that I feel like it's more of a duet and people are singing, but I felt this one was more of a battle strictly because I felt like the voices, there was such contrast, and I don't feel like either of the singers made the contrast work for me. For me, that's just my personal opinion. So I liked what they individually did, but when their voices came together, I didn't really care for the sound that I was hearing because I felt like it was two singers singing.
I hear you.
Okay, so I hear you. Stephanie?
Kendall definitely has a more dominant voice.
Yeah, sure.
And Alison definitely has a more gentle and tender voice, a very beautiful voice. This is no shade. She has a gorgeous voice. And especially when it got to the back half of that song where her voice was soaring, I was like, pretty. You better sing. But yes, their voices are very different. And I felt like Kendall I felt like he was trying to temper his voice a bit as to not overshadow her, because he could have been more powerful than he was, especially when they were singing together. I actually appreciated his portion a little bit more because it gave me more passion and it gave me a little bit more personality. And I was very impressed there was one section of his verse where it went real high. And he did that thing full voice. And I was like, and that's where I felt like it was a battle. He's like, I'm gonna do this. I'm not just gonna like go into like a falsetto and just kind of. He was like, and I was like, he came to win. He came to win, and he sang that thing down because when she started singing, you could see where the range was. You could see where he was going to have to sing, and I'm like, you gonna be up there a little bit, Kendall. And he handled that thing, and for him being a Reba button, whatever the button thing was, save, yes. Yeah. I was like, he came in to show Miss Reba that he deserved that save from her. So, yes. So that's my take.
Who did Reba wind up going with? I am so interested.
Kendall,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kendall did give the stronger performance, and maybe, but I still wanted, and this is again personal choice, Kendall. If you are listening, I love your voice. I love the grit in your voice. I just think with that one, I wanted a little bit more, because I know you can do it. I wanted a little bit more caress.
I didn't give it to me. Bring on the rain. Bring on the storm. Bring on the hurricane.
She wanted the shrimp and grits.
I did.
She wanted that.
I did.
So awesome job, Kendall. Okay. Our next singers were Eliza and Mikaela. And they sang 1,000 Miles. I always say this is Sarah Bareilles, but it's not.
It's Vanessa Carlton.
Vanessa Carlton. Because Sarah and Vanessa kind of came out around the same time, and like this, I would always confuse this one is I'm Not Gonna Write You a Love Song. Like I would confuse these songs together. Back in the early 2000s when these songs dropped. I said, I love this song. Yes, I'm a Black person. I will admit, I know a lot of you know this song from the movie White Girls. I know that's how a lot of people of color got to know this song. But I love this song. Always have.
I know it from MTV.
Right. Always have. And Cedric the Entertainer, sorry to digress for a second, but he did something really funny. He's like, you go around, this is years ago, show you how old this was in his stand-up routine. He's like, you go around the office, bopping your head, talking about, since you've been gone. Talking about Black people going around, talking about, since you've been gone. Y'all know you like that song.
Right.
Like, this is one of those songs, like a guilty pleasure song, because it was very poppy, very sugary sweet.
Yes.
But people love 1,000 Miles.
Love this song.
I said, well, come through choreo. Did you see a little choreo at the beginning?
I did.
I was like, okay. I like the contrasts of how they both handled this song. I thought Eliza sang it straight.
She did.
Conventional, and I felt Mikaela put a little pop R&B behind it.
She sure did.
Not straight R&B, just a little pop R&B, right?
The pop.
I felt like Eliza, to me, in this version, Eliza had a little bit more character in her voice. I felt like her voice was a little bit more marketable.
Okay.
Because it was Eliza has a different tone. Like, it's not your run-of-the-mill tone. I said, Mikaela, I loved what you did because I thought your runs were done in good taste, but just make sure you watch your tuning. Mm-hmm. Some of your runs were a little out of tune. So make sure when you do your runs that they're sharp. Especially if you're doing a song with such a known melody,
right?
So doing a little ad lib, make sure that those ad libs are very sharp. I felt like the tuning in the harmony was really good. I thought they both. I felt there were times where for like a split second, the harmonies were off, but I felt like
they would go.
And they tuned, like they sharpened, right away.
Yep. You see what my hands are doing? This is what they was doing. They was like, just, yes.
I
That
could
was good.
never have thought of this song as a battle song in a million years, and I love the arrangement of this. I loved, and I think it was because this is where the contrast actually worked for me, where she sang it, where the difference of the way Eliza sang it versus Mikaela, um, because it worked. Because when they came together, I thought it really
Yes.
worked. But then when they sang separately, you heard their distinctive styles, right? So
Yes.
that's my Stephanie.
Okay, I'm going to go on a mini tangent because I too love this song. I love the original. It's just, making my way down. It's so singable. It's just so easy.
Favorite song.
Yes. Uh, Not too long ago, James sent me a clip on Instagram, and I had seen it before, but he reminded me of a young lady named. I'm going to get her name wrong, so I'm going to say it as I think it's supposed to be said, and then I'm going to spell it. It's at Arlesham, at Arleisham. Y'all, she does this song. She sings this song as if it's a worship song. No lie, I played it 25 times today, if not more. Because the runs that she was doing, she's like, as the piano's coming in, she's like, and make your way down to the altar, and that kind of thing. And she's, I need you, and I miss you, and now we wonder. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
It's so
Back,
like low-key, right?
it's
not
so low key.
it's not like no, it's not like
No, but like her runs are so tasteful, and it's exactly how it would be sung if we were doing a call to the altar. Like
right.
just chill, but like the runs just hit you, the runs just slay you, and they're unexpected and they're perfect. So I might link that in the show notes so y'all can see that because it's so good. It's so good. It's so fire. Oh my goodness. See you tonight. Woo! Okay, back to Eliza and Mikaela. Eliza came in and she came in sounding just like Vanessa. I was like, you sound just like the record. And one of the coaches even said that. Like, you sound like the record. And you're right. She sang it more straight, and this is why. Coach Snoop gave advice in the rehearsal saying to them, and I think to Mikaela more specifically, sing it straight. Don't be doing too many other runs. Sing it straight. We just want the straight version, okay? So I think Eliza was like, I'm going to sing the straight version. I ain't doing all the. Now, what Mikaela chose to do is she chose to sing her first part of the song with a little bit of run, but then like mostly straight. But then when you got to the back half of the song, she gave us run.
Sure did.
And in one vein, I was a little scared because I knew what Snoop said in the rehearsal, and I was like, I hope he does not penalize her for doing these runs. On the other side, I was like, she doing these runs to differentiate herself, and she knows she in a battle to try to stay in this competition. So she doing what she needs to do in order to differentiate herself and show her range and her runs and her full vocal. I thought, again, just like you said, their vocal together, especially at the end, I was like, oh, like it was so cool the things they were doing. It almost gave me like a little theatery feel of the song. It was almost like it was part of a production, right? That's how it felt to me. So I really, really liked that. There were, to me, some timing issues, and I felt this with a couple of performances tonight that there was some timing issues. It wasn't bad phrasing, it was timing. So I was wondering by like the end of the show, I was wondering if like they had trouble hearing, like if there was an all around sound issue going on, because there were a few times where I was like, y'all ain't coming in or y'all ain't on time. But never to the point where it disrupted anything. But it was to the point that Michael Bublé ended up saying something about it, which he made kind of like a weird comment. He talked about there could be no mistakes made, but there was some syncopation issues. I was like, well, then that's a mistake. Like, you can't say that there's no mistakes, but there was an issue. So anyway, again, not enough to throw anything off. I thought they landed the plane beautifully together. I thought they worked really well together. And I was just so glad to hear this song again.
Yeah, great song. Great song. So who did Snoop go with?
Mikaela.
Wow.
He went with Mikaela. He said that he thought that she had more room to grow and to kind of like, he really liked the runs and all that she was showing in her voice. He thought that it lacked a little bit of control. And he
Yeah,
said that he really thought he could work on that with her and that she had a really powerful instrument.
yeah.
I was like, well, I can't disagree.
I really do.
Yeah, I can't disagree.
This competition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next we had little Stevie Wonder. We had Jaylen and Jan
Mm-hmm.
uh, for Once in My Life. I love this
So
song.
good. So
This
good.
one is just Stevie's just feel good songs. Like
Yes. Just,
it's very early Stevie. Uh,
yes.
you know, pre songs in the Key of Life. It's Motown Stevie. And I loved it. Um, first thing I heard, I said, Jandan, I said, watch your back phrasing, dude. I said, it sounds like it's dragging a bit.
This
This
is what I'm
song,
talking about.
this song is deceptively difficult because it's like your vocal for once in my life, like dun, 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 dun. Like here's the thing. Here's the thing. It is of another genre generation. Okay, so
Generation.
they didn't generation, right? So they did not backphrase them, right?
Right. Right.
And I learned this. I had to learn this when I did a show and it was like older music that I had to sing to realize like we are so trained now as singers to come up in the age that we came up with in R&B and stuff like that and so on and so forth that back phrasing is kind of in internal, right?
Yes.
And this
Yes.
is a song that, in my opinion, you need to stay on the beat with. Dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Like, and I felt like you were like,
Stay up
for
on it.
one in my life. Dun, 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 dun. And I felt like the music was giving me the. So that's the big thing. Um, Jaylen, Jaylen, young man, you know what? First of all, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for coming on this show when your voice was going through the change. Um, which a lot of kids, a lot of boys who go through puberty, their voices will go through the change. Will you be like this? And you'll sing, and all of a sudden you're singing like this. And you're like, well, what the heck? And you're like this. And you're like, what the heck is going on here?
Right.
I cannot wait for your voice to settle because you are going
No.
to be a vocal phenom. Like seriously, just give it some time, Jaylen. Really, because I hear it. We hear it. We hear just a powerhouse, wonderful voice. Um, Go and listen, Jaylen. You're really young. There's a singer that I want you to listen to. I want you to listen to two different. I want you to listen to the singer as before he hit puberty, and I want you to listen to him after he hit puberty. And his name is Tevin Campbell. I want you to go and listen to Tevin Campbell. Um, when he first came out, he had a song that went, "Tomorrow will be a better you, better me," and that's the octave that he sang it in. And now you see, Jaylen, I was singing it in the higher octave, but
Yeah.
I had a voice just like yours, sir, and this is why I'm taking a little bit more time. And then when Tevin hit puberty and he came out when he was just like he came out when he was just a little bit older than you, with one of the biggest R&B hits of all time. I think Babyface record on "Can We Talk." So I want you to listen to that and him singing that. The voice is still high because
Yes, it
you
is.
still have a high voice, but
Yes.
it settled. And this is what you're going to be like. This is the type of singer you're going to be. So just give it some time, sir. I thought you did a superb job. You were like, I felt like Stephanie, he was like determined. He's like, I'm not going to crack. I'm not going to crack.
Listen.
I'm not going to crack. But I felt like he was, okay, I'm playing with my registers here. I don't quite know where my voice is going to go, but hey, I'm here and I'm trying my hardest. And young man, I thought you navigated it beautifully. There's so many people your age would have been like, nope, can't do it, or their
Nope.
voices just cracking, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's the
Nope.
natural evolution of your voice. Jan Dan, bruh, some of them runs were fire. Some of those runs that you did
you
on
hear
your song, I said,
them little sneaky runs?
okay. There's that one run. You're like, I said, yeah. Michael Wood said, oh. Like that one run you did was crazy. And I said, people don't realize how difficult this song is with the timing. So both of you, just be careful with that timing. I love energy that both of them brought, and I love the way that they fed off of one another. I felt like they were giving each other energy to really work their way and navigate through the song. Stephanie?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, like low key, Jan Dan sang this thing down.
Yeah, he did.
Like if he sang this thing down. Again, I got a second chance to listen, and I was like, okay, sir. Okay. Here is my one critique. If I were to have turned the sound completely down and just watched, I would have swore he was singing a ballad.
Yeah.
And that's my issue. Jaylen over there doing his two-step bippity bop. And he was like, here. And Jan Dan was like, for once in my life. And I was like, oh, the contrast of performance. Like, I just needed him to give a little bit more energy and a little bit more. And it's hard. Trust me, I understand. I understand that when you're singing like an up tempo, it is very difficult to sing the thing down as well as move. Like it's a chore. It's a chore. But Jan Dan sang this thing down.
Yeah, he did. For Michael Bublé to call out a run, dude, that's huge. That's huge.
It was huge. Jaylen came in and I was like, what? The change is occurring because that thing is lower. That thing sat lower than I remember.
Yeah.
I was so proud for a couple reasons, but mainly because I could tell that number one, the commitment was there. Number two, he had put in the work. And number three, he was fearless. He was like, I am not going to let what is going on with my voice discourage me from doing some of the runs and some of the ornamentations that my heart wants to do, and I'm going to execute it as best as I can. I could see this young man, and this is why, James, I'm scared of him.
Yeah,
I'm scared of Jaylen because I saw him on that stage tuning and feeling like it was like, okay, this is going a little bit under, but I'm gonna flip it here and I'm gonna dip it here, and I could see him doing that, and I could hear what he was doing, and I was like, not only are you a gifted singer, you are an intelligent singer, and the minute you get full control over that instrument, James. Tevin Campbell, I hear Chris Breezy, like I hear it.
It's unfortunate because I wish Jaylen would be able to come back. Because he's gotten past the blinds. So I don't think you can come back.
No, I think there's been some. And guess what? We got folk coming back that have been either, I know he's been in the blinds.
Yeah.
I've seen exceptions. I think they need to make an exception for this young man because I forget whether I said this on main feed or on Patreon, but I'm going to say it here. I didn't really think that Jaylen should have been on the show and gone past the blinds just because of the instability of his instrument. Like, he didn't have full control, not of anything of his own fault, because nature because nature. And I just didn't think that it was, not to say it wasn't fair, because he wanted to be a part of the show and I understand why. I just would have rather waited to see him and hear him at full capacity and at full control. So I do think that he should try to come back like in a year or two, because he gonna blow him away. He gonna blow him away.
He's special voice caught in a you know, another singer I want you to listen to who was actually going through the change but used it to his advantage was Riley Tate. Go back.
Oh yeah.
Riley would yodel his voice.
He sure would.
The flipping, and like he added it into his sound, which I thought was brilliant. Which actually covered up the change that his voice was going through.
It sure was.
Brilliantly. Like, and it sounded like he stylized it, and that was, I was like, I was like, I don't know who taught you how to do that, young man. That was crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. So go back and listen to Riley Tate and listen to what Riley Tate did, because that's the type of voice you have. It's amazing. Okay, so who picked?
This is Team Gwen. So before I tell you who Gwen picked, there were a couple things of note during this discussion and the feedback, and even during the performance.
Yeah.
So during
hear what they said about Jaylen.
So during the performance, Snoop was singing throughout the whole thing.
Of course.
And Bublé was up dancing, which I just felt was so encouraging and so wonderful, because it was just a show of support. And he even said, like, I saw Jaylen over there like dancing, and I love this song too. So I felt like I should get up and dance too. And I love that. Reba was in tears at the end, because I think she was just so moved by Jaylen and Jan Dan's performance as well, especially Jaylen being in kind of this vulnerable situation that he's in. And the feedback is pretty much what we said as far as performance went, and as far as Jaylen going through his vocal change. In the end, Gwen picked Jan Dan to move on. And this was interesting, because here's another thing that's going on. Jan Dan's wife was pregnant. Was pregnant at the time. He said that she was currently in labor. Or no, this was her due date. The date of when they did their battles was her due date, and she was 2 centimeters dilated. But Jan Dan moves on in the competition.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Y'all, please bring Jaylen back. Please.
Hashtag bring Jaylen back.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so our final performance of the night was Kiara and Moore. And they sang Iris. And sung by, I don't know if that was last season or 2 seasons ago.
Zoe.
Sung by Zoe.
Last season.
That was last season?
I believe.
It all flows together.
I believe.
And the song. I just love the song. I said, you better sing more. And then I wrote, you better sing, Kiara. I said, more. I'm getting chills just saying what I'm about to say. More, I felt like your verses were mesmerizing. I was mesmerized. I was like transfixed by what was coming out of your throat. Like, really, like, I just was like, what? What's going on here?
Right.
It's like the coolest tone, the coolest sound. Like, and then like the way he like moved, right? When he was singing, like the way he felt, it's like he truly felt, it's like his voice felt the music, if that makes sense.
I love the way he cups his hand when he sings.
And it was just great. I love, you know what I loved about Kiara's voice? I loved, there was angst. I heard angst in her voice, right? I heard angst. Yep. I said, listen to how the voices, you all, listen to how they are 2 completely different voices, but the blend was crazy. That's 2 singers.
Crazy.
It's 2 singers listening to each other. And I felt, it's, you know what was crazy? because this was one I watched a little bit of the comments. I was like, what's going on here? Is this a romance? Is a romance budding? Like, I felt passion
Come on.
from this performance.
Come on.
Like I was like, are we witnessing like a Perigita and her boyfriend?
KK, leave them alone, James. Leave them alone. They just performing. They just performing
No, no,
until something is verified.
right. That's what I felt.
No, but the
And
connection was there.
one of the judges, I forget, was it Reba or somebody said, and Reba was crying. Y'all, I was crying. And I know a lot of it has to do with this song, how much I love this song, but I just thought their performance was so passionate.
Mm-hmm.
I got very emotional like Reba, and I loved it. This was my favorite performance of the night. Stephanie?
Oh, so first of all, this was the first time we got to see Coach Bublé coach. He was coaching, y'all. Listen,
Oh,
Bublé don't play.
I know. Then
Boo,
I'm going to go back and watch it because I know
you
he
could.
was dropping. I know he was
He
dropping.
he was telling them like it was. He was telling them both, y'all got to stay on time. Like, I was like,
He's a
eh,
technician.
and he was telling more about like how he needed to sing harmonies and how like he needed to make sure he was getting up on his notes. Bublé don't play when coaching. And I loved every second of it because he was giving it to him straight. Like he ain't got time to mess around, right? They're trying to put out the best product. And I think that the way he and they both said, both Kiara and Moore both said, like, that was great. He really made us feel at ease. It was great. It wasn't like you're doing this and this and this wrong. It was like, no, it was constructive and it was helpful. And by the time they went through it, like the second or third time, he asked them, how do y'all feel? And they both said, oh, we feel much better. And that's the best thing that they can walk away those rehearsals with when they're with their coach, is to feel better and then be sent out to practice some more. So that was awesome. More, dude, you just an artist. You ain't no singer. You are an artist. And I just felt like he was feeling every lyric and every note from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. Like, I just felt like everything was coming out of him. And his instrument is so incredible. I felt like he made the song cry, like they say. He made the song cry. I just felt his emotion. And for this being one of the first times that you ever done harmony, sir, because what you could have done, if Kiara is more comfortable doing the harmonies, you could have just asked her to do it and you just stayed on the melody. But you did them. You
Right.
did them harmonies, sir. You did it.
He did.
Kiara, you out there. I was trying to figure out, I was like, who does her voice sound like? And when you said angst, I said confirmation, because she was giving like Haley Williams.
Yes.
She was giving like that angst, that tone, that brightness, but like the power. Oh,
Right.
and all those which are a lot more what's the word? Not as rugged, a little bit smoother, still has that grit to it. It's the
Right.
perfect match for a voice like Moore, which is just all grit, you know? It was the perfect match.
This was everything I wanted on that with Alison and Kendall. Like
there you go.
This is what I wanted to hear with the contrasting voices.
I hear you. It was so good. When they sang together, I was like,
song too.
I'm sorry?
A lot of it has to do with the song too.
Absolutely. I was blown away. I was really blown away. And again, I love this song, so I'm tempted to be a little bit more critical. And upon first listen, I was more critical. That I need second listens, y'all, because upon second listen, I was like, oh, I get it. I got it. And it was great.
It was great. So, was this a cliffhanger, or did they?
No, they told us.
Who did Michael pick?
Michael picked Kiara.
Wow. But I know Moore ain't going nowhere. I know it. Y'all better steal that dude.
So he was doing his comments. He was saying thank you to Michael for believing in him and giving him the opportunity. And that man ended with, and God is good. And I said, all the time. And Gwen said, bop. I said, won't he do it? This is the second time y'all talked to Kendall. That's how Kendall got back, because he said the name of Jesus in his lyrics. And and more, when he said God is good, I said, somebody gonna bop for you. Somebody is. And he was walking off, and Gwen was like, I said, won't he will? Won't he will? Hey.
He should have been a 3 bop. That's a scary voice, y'all.
It is a scary voice.
Bop, bop, bop. Or Michael should have kept him.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an option. I don't think that's an option this year.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I don't think that's an option.
He should have been stolen 3 ways. Because Gwen, I think, is a great. Gwen's gonna bring out the uniqueness in his voice.
Well, she's got a unique voice, so she's going to do a great job. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to the first night of battles. We got another night of battles to get through, so we're excited about that. Stephanie, tell them what they need to hear.
So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. Also, check us out on YouTube. Search for The Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button to know when we drop a new video. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at The Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more. And last, become a Patreon. It's only $5. We have $5, less than a Starbucks. Okay, we have bonus content on along with our main feed episode. We have exclusive content of our initial reactions of the episodes, our thoughts about Friday leaks, so much more. For more information, check out the Patreon highlight on our IG page, and you can also find a link to our Patreon on our Linktree link in our bio and in the show notes. Sign up. You don't want to miss it.
All right, you all. So we'll see you
soon.
In the meantime, in between time.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.